Okay, I grew up in Darlington. I lived a short time in Madison. I kind of lived in Blanchardville twice. Whitford and the rest of the time in Darlington, I guess. I grew up, was born and raised in Wyoda, lived most of his life in Wyoda. My mother was born, I'm not sure, I think Gratiot. And most of her life in Darlington. And run a restaurant, run a bar. And I guess I grew up in Darlington too. I started babysitting when I was 11 years old. When I was in grade school, believe it or not, I had customers every week that I washed their hair, cut their hair, set their hair, just regular beautician. And I babysat mostly until I worked in a restaurant a short time, and as soon as I was 18, I started at the telephone company. And I was an telephone operator for 16 plus years. Oh, golly. I had several jobs, and then I bartended for many years. And my last job I had was at Land's End. I think I had 25 years in up there. Worked at Florida Plants and finally retired completely at 86, about 83 years old, 83 or 84 years old. Grandpa and Kenny and I met on a blind date. And the first and only blind date I ever had. And it went right on from there.
Who set you up?
Huh?
Who set you up?
A friend of mine. And Kenny's cousin Marlon, and we double dated.
Where'd you go?
Oh, Lordy. So many years ago, I don't remember. Maybe 19. First date, we just resulted in 6 kids. Oh, you don't want me to put this on. Shut that off. I don't think he really proposed. I can't find it. So we don't want that on there. Okay, when I had Fred, she was one of the longest ones in coming. I started labor on Friday night. She was born on Sunday afternoon, I do believe. And she was an easy baby to have. She might have been a spoiled little stinker later on, but she was an easy baby to have. And we had her named Kimberly Ann until we were just about ready to come home, and we switched it to Wendy Sue. And don't ask me why we did it, I have no idea.
You guys were calling her Kimberly?
Yeah. The nurses said, well, I thought you were naming her Kimberly. I said, well, we were.
That is so funny. I can't imagine.
I don't know.
'Cause I don't need that much for me.
Fred was an easy girl to raise. She was spoiled. She'd forget something and I'd have to run so many trips to take her stuff to school. And when she was a teenager, she was a little bit more difficult. I even had to go to jail and pick her up once or twice. Nothing serious. I think maybe, I'm not sure, maybe underage drinking, a bunch of them. But I think that was one of the first times I visited jail, was picking up my daughter.
And you yelled at her for what? And what did you yell at her for? When you picked her up at jail, what did you yell at her for?
I don't remember.
You didn't get mad at her for the underage. You got mad because she wrote Carol Beverly on
Well, I don't remember
instead of
that.
Beverly Carroll.
I don't remember that at all. She tells me that I got mad at her for calling me Carol rather than Beverly, but I do not remember it. I think she made it up. And when she was coming back from Kevin's house, she didn't stop completely at a stop sign, and she got picked up. We had to go, I think that was time, but one time we had to go and appear before the judge. Oh, she had her license taken away, so I had to get it back for her. And it was Judge McDonald, and I was just shaking in my shoes. I was so afraid. From an incident from that, an incident that happened years ago. But you got him back. I haven't traveled a whole lot, but I think my very favorite trip was 2 years ago when Kevin and Fred took Liz and I to Laughlin. That was one of the best trips I ever had, I think. I've had a few, but that was probably my favorite. Hey, Thomas. Hey. What you doing? I don't really ever personally remember meeting Mike, but I knew him always because he came into the bar when he was still married to Bertha, and after they were divorced, we just kind of eased into it, I guess. I don't want to say how it really happened. It wasn't nothing bad, but Mary Ray and I got really quite drunk, and so we stopped at his place on the way to Blanchardville, and it kind of went on from there.
Okay.
Okay. I've got one friend that lives in Madison. We very seldom see each other, and it's from high school days, grade school days. We roomed together, and I might not talk to her for 5 months, but we take off just like it was yesterday. She's my longest friend. And I guess there was other ones that there was the McDermott girls that we worked together, the telephone company, and was long-time friends, and they were both deceased now. And there's Patty Conroy, we're still great friends. I'm only going to mention a few of the longest ones. And Liz and Rachel and Sarah. Yeah. Hi. I made a lot of friends here where I live and where in other places I've lived. But I think they're probably another long life friend I had that I loved her dearly, but she's passed away too. And right now, that's all I can think of. I've just mentioned a few. I could go on forever. He's one of the very best persons I think I've ever had the honor of knowing. And he's lifted my legs up in a car on a trip. He's put my shoes on, he's put my socks on, he's tied my shoes. He just does everything for me. I don't think I can say enough good about him. Although when he drank at one time, I'd like to kick his butt over the moon a few times. But I predicted when Fred was a freshman, they were going to get married. And here we are today. So that's enough of Kevin. I don't want him to get a big head.
That was a
Okay. I'm gonna come to Fred, like all the rest of her family. She's one of the most caring, loving people I know too. And she's so good to me. She takes me to the doctors, anything I want her to do, shopping, you name it, she'll do it. They all have certain things to do. She's an excellent cook. I guess she's taught her daughters how to cook. Maybe not one. Maybe Ashton got, but she's a good farmer. She's a good mother. She's a good grandma. She's just good to everybody. What are you most proud of?
her mom.
Of your mom first. Well, I think I am proud that she's a good wife, mother, grandmother, and I am proud of how good she is to me. I'm just proud of everything, period. And when we go ranging in the same group, it's a lot of fun playing cards with them. Is that okay? Fred doesn't think she's stubborn, but she is. One time, Grandpa Mike told her that he'd give her a ride to school, so she went to get in and he wouldn't take her because she didn't have any boots and mittens. So they had a big fuss about that. And neither one of them would budge. And finally I said, just give in. When we get to school, we can get rid of them. One time, he took her and Stacy to school and drove right up on the sidewalk to Mom at school. I think he took him in the cutter that he had, if I remember right, behind the snowmobile. And that was not a good thing because he went too fast for it. And I was scared stiff.
Do you remember the story when Grandpa Mike called up to the school when Mom was in high school and told the office to go get her out of her last class and take her by the hand and show her where her bus was because she didn't know where it was? That's like my favorite story.
Probably one of the funniest stories ever, most embarrassing for Fred. She never wanted to ride the school bus. So Mike called the office one day and told them to go down when school was out, take Fred by the hand and show her what bus she was supposed to get on to ride home. Oh, when she came home, oh, she was so mad. And there's so many stories that I can't just remember. But he was a very good dad. He would babysit then he would help get their meals. Help do dishes.
He was pretty lovey, like Beaver, and
Huh?
he was pretty lovey, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was very loving. He sharp with them sometimes, but he was a good dad in general too. Very good.
Is there anything else you want to say?
I wish I could think of everything that I know, but I just don't remember that much. I sit and stare into space because I can think better than if I'm looking right at you. I'm so used to Judy. I'm looking out there. Oh my, I forget one of the tricks that Grandpa Mike pulled on us. And I had two, Stacy and Fred were almost embarrassed to tears. It was a Christmas Eve and I worked at the spot. Mike called up a dozen times. When are you going to be done? When are you going to be done so we can go to Jody's? And I should have known because he was never in a big hurry. So Ronnie finally said, go on, forget about cleaning up and go with him. So I get to Jody's and after eating and gifts, oh come on now, we got to go home. So anyway, when we finally went home, we were going down Main Street. And there were some cars coming across the bridge, and we lived down by the bridge in Jim Blazer's house. And we wondered why is people slowing down, looking in our direction. The closer we got, we could see lights. Well, he got a big old stinky billy goat, had Chuck Staffiker and Connie hook it all up. They made just like a tent over it in the cradle like, and tied the goat and said Merry Christmas, Beth.
I want to stop her.
The front kids said we'll never be able to show our face again. Let's see, what other? I seen one of you kids before, and I don't remember which one. I think Tim, you. Oh wait. Timmy, I wasn't there, but I do know it was deer hunting time. But usually I was at the hospital at some point. And one I was seen born, and the second one I had it with her. Might as well be honest, so I just decided I better leave the room before I get in trouble. My mind just don't, I can't think. I bet Mary and Jerry think a lot of things. Have an easier time than me, but they're younger than I am. Some of my greatest memories with Tim or with Kevin and Fred is the family get-togethers when Grandpa and Grandma are there, and we always play cards, especially Screw Your Neighbor. And I remember one time Grandma gave us the quarters. The lady said, Grandma, no quarters allowed. It's got to be dollars. And last night, they talked me into $5 game. And I would have never talked, but I won $15. So I lost my $15. But it was fun losing it.
Can you tell us what your parents did for a living? What did your mom and dad do for jobs?
What did my dad and
Your mom and dad do for work?
my mother, she had a lot of jobs. Later years, her and Grandpa Shay, he worked for the RA. She had a little restaurant, which is Blanche's Cafe. And then they bought a bar. They had that for a few years. That's where I started my bartending jobs. And Grandpa Jacobson was a carpenter always. If he farmed in early years, but he was a carpenter, very good carpenter. So, and when I got to know Grandpa Shea, I don't remember exactly what he was doing then, but he worked for the RA for many years. It's another story. Some other stories about Fred. She was an awful mama's girl. Wherever I went, she wanted to go. And she called me 100 times a day when I'd be working. If I went to eat somehow or another, she managed to go. And I remember one time her and Diane were staying with Grandma Shea, and we went out with Ronnie Blazer on the horse and whatever we were doing, I don't remember. When she found out, oh my God, she was so mad. She tried everything in the sun that she could find to get with us. A time we went to Great America, and I wouldn't let them ride in any fun rides. Oh, they just got so mad at me, but I was scared to let them go. So when Ronnie Blazer found out about him, he took Dowse and his kids and my kids to Great America, and they got to ride every ride they wanted to. He said, if your mom's no fun, I'll be a lot of fun with you. One time that I was tending bar, somebody brought a goat into the bar, and it stuck. And I climbed up on top of the bar because didn't want to get near it. I was afraid. And Fred come through the door. Oh, she wanted to pet the goat. I said, no, you don't. You get up on the bar with me.
Who would have thought she'd have 2,000 goats later in life?
Yeah. So anyway, until they got out the goat out of there, her and I were out of the bar. But say that Fred and Kevin have done a marvelous job with their family. I'm very proud of them. That's it. Okay, I love you both very much, and keep holding hands. That's it.
I grew up in Lamont Township on a farm way down in, it must have been about half a mile down in, and went to Otter Creek School, and that's right on top of Chatty Kill. I hope everybody knows where Chatty Kill is, but I think they do. And I had 3 brothers. And I really didn't do too much on the farm because my brothers were older and they did it. But actually when I came home, all 4 of us, which was kind of unusual back in that time, all 4 of us were born down in the Monroe Hospital, and we came home to the cheese factory, which was the Colback Cheese Factory, on the intersection of Wardsville Road and Burke Road. Long gone. I think they probably tore it down when after we moved out to the farm to Lamont. Went to Darlington High School, and that's probably where I met him, but we'll get into that later. Where'd you grow up, Jerry? Where did you grow up?
I grew up about Seymour, and
You didn't.
I went to Seymour School, and
Arlington High School.
Arlington High School.
And how many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had six brothers and five brothers.
Okay. There was 10 in the original family, wasn't there? Your mother passed away. Your mother passed away when you were
When I was young.
how
I
tall?
was 6 weeks.
6 weeks old. Do you know what she died from?
Not really.
Probably a blood clot or something like that. Maybe they kept you in bed for over a week after the baby was born. So, okay. Now, 1936, when he was born in January 13th of 1936, and that winter was pretty bad, wasn't it? They had so much snow that they really couldn't drive on the roads, could they? They couldn't drive on the roads, and they had to go through the fields. It was really, really bad, and I think it was really cold too, wasn't it? Well, how did we meet? The first time I ever saw you, you were standing in front of the sweet shop, and somebody said, "Well, that's Jerry Leahy," and that was the first time I ever knew you. Do you remember seeing me that night? Be honest.
I don't remember.
Well, I do think you probably did. And then, well, that was just the start of our high school years, and then we didn't really have too much to do with each other the first year or so, and then probably our the end of our sophomore year, we probably started noticing each other again. But that's probably where the first kiss started. We were riding around in the back seat of somebody's car. I do not remember whose. And there was 4 of us in the back seat, and I suppose we were kind of cuddled up to each other. And all of a sudden, he said, "Can I kiss you?" And I said yes. And that was probably the best yes I ever said, right?
Right.
And you do remember that too, don't
Oh,
you?
yes.
Oh, yes. And other than that, well, I suppose it just kind of, we never,
Snowball.
well, he really liked the girls, so he wasn't really satisfied with just one. He wasn't just satisfied with me. So I kind of had to fight for him. And then I got to tell you about the prom. I think you probably heard about that. I didn't have a date. I happened to be on the court, you know, so you kind of think, well, you must be a little bit popular if you're on the court. Somebody's going to ask you to the prom. Well, nobody did. And I thought, well, I thought he was going to. And then later I learned he already had a date. And this one boy who I was very friendly with, he was my friend. And he took me home one night and he said, will you go to the prom with me? Well, I hee-hawed around because I thought he would take me. And the boy finally said, "Jerry's already got a date." So I said, "Yeah, I'll go with you." I think that's the way it was, wasn't it?
Probably.
Probably. And yeah, and then things probably started getting interesting then. How did you propose to me? Tell us what you just said.
So we were out one night, and I think we stopped the question.
Okay, and did I say yes?
I think so.
I think I did too. Actually, he was working down at GM, and I was still living in Madison, and he came up one night and popped the question. Oh, did we ever talk about having kids? We never did we? They just kept coming, just like, and I don't know what Mom and Dad thought of us, because they only had 4, and pretty soon I'd say, well, we're going to have another baby. And they took it pretty well, didn't they? Not that it was any of their business, but we were young farmers and we were young, and I'm sure.
Well, in them days, they had larger families.
Yeah, they did. Our 7 was not very many, and in the area,
Especially with Wiggles.
in the area that we lived, 7
Right.
kids wasn't a real big family. What jobs did we have?
Well, we worked in the factory for a year.
Well, I think it was about 3 months, don't you think you worked?
Wasn't very long.
It wasn't very long.
And then we went farming. And I think we've done that the rest of our life.
We certainly did. When I graduated from high school, I went to Madison, and I worked at the telephone company. Me and another girl went to Madison, and actually lived at the YMCA, which at that time was real close to where the telephone company was. Me and my friend Nancy Holmes, which I'm sure, let's see, they would know them. Yeah, they would have known Nancy and Jerry. But anyway, Nancy and I moved to an apartment then. And being I had to work weekends at the telephone company, which was very good pay for that time, I decided I wanted to go home on weekends to see this fella. And so I quit my job and worked at this great big hardware store, which had a lot. They had everything in it except hose. And it was named Wolf, Kubley, and Hersig, and it was right on the square. And so then I had my weekends off and I could go see him. But what was interesting, Jerry Holmes, which he lived down here in Seymour too. But anyway, he was going with Nancy, so you guys would come up every once in a while. And you guys kind of flew Madison and home, didn't you? You were sometimes very glad to make it up and back again, because Jerry was a very fast driver.
Knew how to move.
Yes, he did. Oh boy. We did do a lot of traveling when he was a Supercross salesman. You were a pretty good salesman, weren't you?
I guess we got the job done.
Yeah, but you did not like being a salesman.
Oh, really?
It was hard on you to ask people to buy something from you. And then when he sold a certain amount of seed corn, we would win trips. And I think the first trip was to Jamaica, wasn't it?
No.
And we took 3 other couples with us. And then I'll just name some of the countries we went to. We went to Spain. We went to Hawaii twice, I think, didn't we? And we went to Switzerland. And I mentioned Spain. We went down to Acapulco once. I suppose it was about 6 trips, don't you think?
Probably.
Yeah. And I liked Italy the best. Which country did you like the best?
Probably Italy.
Mm-hmm. It was very, very interesting. Oh, we've got a lot of lifelong friends, don't we? I suppose am I supposed to name them? My lifelong friend was Margaret Murray, because she lived right right close to us when we lived on the factory. And we have been lifelong friends since I think I was about 4 years old. We played cards. 500, I think it was 500 we played, wasn't it, cards? For 25 years, and we still go out for lunch. There's 6 or 7 of us that go out for lunch once a month, and they were all in the card club at one time. But there's Carol Smith and Nancy Ruth and Millie Parkinson, and I suppose maybe I should have thought of the question a little bit more because there are other people. And Bernie and Nancy have always been friends. Pete and Millie have always been friends. Rich and Pat Reichling, oh, how he loved to talk farming with Rich and Jerry Smith. You could sit there all day and talk.
We could sat there a long time.
he just loved farming with them. So yeah, there's we have kept kind of the same friends for just about since high school or before, haven't we? I suppose I should name a few more, but right at the moment I can't think of them. She wants to know how I felt when I was pregnant with Kevin. And actually, you know, the only one I can really remember being pregnant with is Tom, because that last month was absolutely miserable. And the rest of the kids, when I was pregnant with them, I do not remember that I was as miserable as I was with Tom. Was I mean when I was pregnant?
I don't think so.
Maybe once in a while.
Well,
Of course. So, yeah, he wasn't any different then. I don't know, maybe it was because he was the first boy that I was so miserable with. But I didn't get miserable with him till the last month or so. Oh, I think Kevin was probably the biggest baby, wasn't he? He was over 8 pounds. I would say probably 8.5 or something like that. He was, after he was born, I had cesareans because I had a little hard time getting him born, didn't we? But really, the one that we really had trouble getting born was Connie. I think I was in the hospital for 3 days.
I never did think you were going to deliver.
No, that's true. But I didn't have a long time in the hospital with Kevin, but they said maybe you better have a cesarean the next time, so we did. I think it was kind of my idea to name him Kevin,
I think so.
but when I said Kevin, he thought I said Calvin, and he just kind of looked at me like maybe you didn't like Calvin, and I said no, I said Kevin, and so then that was all right, wasn't it? You like Kevin. So, and he grew fast. I think he was a little bit like our newest great-grandson, Thomas Gerald. He grew fast too. He got plumpy. He got plumpy too, just like Thomas Gerald. Oh, what was Kevin like as a? Oh, him and Alan were not very far in age, and oh my, I was never so glad for anything when they started school, because they would be pretty good during the day. They would have their moments, but then towards evening, later in the afternoon, they would just get wild. And what do? Let them get wild. So anyway, if he was ever going to go away in the afternoon, I would say, why don't you take the boys with you? If you're just going to go to town and get a part, why don't you take the boys with you? Well, no. And I remember this time, he was going to Fenimore. Oh, if he took him to Fenimore, I'd have 2 or 3 hours maybe 4 hours to myself. And I said, why don't you take the boys with you? I am not taking the boys with me. And that was that, wasn't it? You remember that, don't you? Oh, but they weren't that naughty, were they?
Not really.
Now you got, yeah, they were. And as a teen, oh, you know, they were all so naughty. It just all goes together. I just can't pick out one, but they were all naughty, weren't they? They all gave us a hard time. I suppose he was. I don't know.
Then they got older and they were worse yet.
Oh, okay.
Connie and
Oh, yeah, but we're talking about Kevin now. We won't get into Connie. And so anyway, we got through the teen years and things. Then he met your mother, and I think maybe that straightened him out a little bit. Maybe calmed down a little bit. Probably, yeah. He was a fast driver and he liked his cars, and. No, I think your mother will probably say no. He did not slow down after he met me, but I think it kind of helped. Oh, what year did we start farming? I was pregnant with Joanne. We were over at Joe's farm.
what year was it?
Well, we started farming over. When we were living in Janesville and we came back this weekend, Dick stopped us and you went back and talked to him, and Dick said Joe needs a renter. Because Shirley and Ed Fitzsimons was living on the farm. And they apparently
They were there.
Yeah, and I think they wanted to go someplace, so Joe needed a renter. And I think you told Dick that yes, you'd like to come back and farm. So we came back, and Connie and Terry were both born at that farm. And I think we must have bought the farm in 1959 over here.
Right. Joanne was born over here.
And Joanne was born 5 days after we moved over there.
And the high, you couldn't believe the snowdrifts. We brought them home from town.
Both Tom and Joanne, they were March babies, and you don't get the snow like you do right as we did back then, but from St. Peter's, well, probably even from the highway.
Over here in the corner.
Yeah.
Here at the bottom.
Yeah. Those snowdrifts probably were 10. It was just a tunnel going through when we brought both of them home. It was probably about 8 to 10 feet, and it was both that. It was both that way when they were born. We brought them home from the hospital. Oliver Lidgett drove that.
But they just had little ones that barely moved.
Moved on, just so that's why it was so piled. Okay, that's interesting.
How many acres was that first farm?
160 acres.
And we bought it from a couple from Cuba City. And
We bought that right away.
yeah, we bought it right away. And how much did it cost an acre?
300.
I think it was 300. I was going to say 500, but I think you're
No,
right.
it's 300.
$300 an acre. And actually, we didn't know how we were going to pay that off, did we? Your first tractor.
Oh, it was probably a 560 International.
And it was brand new. You bought it new.
Was it new?
Yeah, I think it was.
How much did that cost?
I have no idea.
A lot different than today.
A little different.
Yeah.
What kind of crops did you have?
Corn and hay, whatever.
I don't know if we ever had soybeans that early, did we? No. it was just corn.
You know, I never did plant any soybeans. Speak of.
Till later, or maybe not even then. When did you start milking cows?
Well, we brought the cows down from up other farm.
You probably owned half of them.
Right.
Half of them. So we brought our half down to the new farm, and we milked cows. Well, I don't know when we sold them. Do you? What year it was?
No, I don't. Sold them up there.
Did he own the other half?
Yeah.
How many?
Joe owned it. Joe.
Joe.
owned it.
Okay.
He got a bad back there milking cows. He had to carry the milk from the barn to the milk house because there wasn't anything to transport till later. So he had to carry these big buckets of milk over to the milk house, and you did have a milk tank, didn't you?
Right.
And he'd have to put it in there. Anyway, he got a bad back, and he had to have a operation and have somebody else milk his cows probably for 6 weeks or so.
At least 4 weeks.
At least 4 weeks. And then he had to fix up the darn barn too, because it just wasn't really too many cows that you could milk. So you remodeled the barn.
Yeah, we really didn't milk that long in there, did we?
Well, you put a transfer station in, and then after it got, and a barn cleaner. He didn't have a barn cleaner. My God, you have to back the tractor in.
Oh, it was over in the south side.
Well, maybe I don't remember. And anyway, got everything fixed up halfway decent, and then you could milk it. Oh, what did you like about farming the best? In spring and fall? Always anxious to start
I suppose.
getting jobs.
We bought that farm down south and just started in
The twin silos?
Twin Silos.
Okay.
Did you ever have animals down there?
Oh, we raised a lot of pigs down there, didn't we? Mm-hmm.
When we were younger.
And that's what I was gonna say.
Well, he was a great guy to be around. You and the girls and Tim. And I couldn't ask for any better.
Now you're gonna make me cry.
Me too.
Oh. No, they were good.
They were very easy to get along with. I don't think you've ever had an argument with him, have you?
Not that I remember.
Maybe a little, I think we should do it this way, and maybe Kevin thought you should do it that way, but no, it worked out beautiful, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
I think he feels the same way.
Favorite thing about farming was fall. The falls back then were beautiful. They were sunshiny, and I don't know, I'm sure we had some weather that wasn't great either, but we used to pick corn. He would pick the corn, I would take it to the dryer, and I never had I did that probably for 10 years. I would take the corn from all these farms and bring it to the dryer. Never had one flat tire, did I? Oh, if you could have done anything else but farming.
I think I was happy farming.
And you know what I would have liked to have done, which I could have done before we were married, or after we were, not after we were married, after the kids got all grown up. I should have went back to school and did something, got some kind of education, because education is so important. But I think I really would have liked it, but I didn't do it. And he was very satisfied. Well, now really, I got to tell you this. I did go to work, and he didn't want me to go to work. He wanted a hot meal at dinner time.
And supper time.
Oh, at supper time. A hot meal at dinner time, and boy, he meant it. You know, he's very, very easygoing. But you wanted your meals, didn't you?
Evidently.
Evidently. Mm-hmm. But you know you did. Say yes.
Yes.
No, he really wanted me to be there at dinner time. Your mom's good qualities is she loves your dad very, very much. And you can't beat a husband and wife that love each other. And she's a good mother. She's a good daughter-in-law. And I think the best quality that we like about her, probably, and I hope you agree with me, that she's a wonderful mother. I think that, and she helps your dad whenever he needs it. If he's in a pinch and maybe Ashton's busy or Tim's busy or now Erica, she'll go out and pitch hit for him, and that's pretty special, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Well, what's his best qualities?
Probably good worker.
And you got along good together.
Right.
You worked very good together.
And the girls.
Yeah. But no,
And Tim.
what is his best qualities?
Whose?
Kevin's, the guy you worked with for 20 some years.
Harmon, I guess.
He was just Kevin. He was just Kevin. You expected Kevin to be Kevin, and he always was. Now I got to tell you a little bit about this. Now, of course, we can do it, but back maybe even 2 years ago, he would get up in the morning, 6:30, have breakfast, 7:30 he was out of the house, and why can't you just stick around till 8 o'clock and we'll have a second cup of coffee together? And he'd say, no, I've got to get down to the farm and see what's going on. So he'd be gone.
We make this one a good one.
Of Kevin, what makes you most proud of him?
I would say. What would you say?
I just kind of said that, he's Kevin. He's always been Kevin. He's always been easy to love. And you agree with me that he's always been easy to love.
Yeah.
He's always been easy to love. And I think that was probably his best quality. He was... What did you just say about Kevin?
He was easy to work with and seemed like things got done.
And he was always Kevin. He was Kevin from the day he was born. He was a lovable baby. He was a lovable in the middle years, not the teen years. He probably wasn't as lovable then. But after that, he was a pretty special guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. Very good.
Mm-hmm. Very special guy. He's a good father. He's always been a good father. He takes care of his kids. It's probably something that he always had ideas. you were always thinking about something, weren't you? Always thinking about something that you were going to do. And I think Kevin has the same qualities as you, because he's always thinking about things and wanting to, maybe we can do this. And he was the same way. I think they had a lot of the same qualities, and you can't beat this guy right here. The end.
We love you, Kevin.
Look, we love you. We'll say it. We love you, Kevin.
We love you, Kevin.
Christmas present.
Oh,
This video is going to be a Christmas present for Kevin and Wendy.
Anything else you think of?
No, I think we covered it pretty good.
Is there any like special memories you have of Dad? Like,
I may remember something later, but not right now.
okay.
Well, I guess that, what did he build that one time? A little go-kart? He built a go-kart.
Oh. And I buried the thing up behind the barn.
But yeah.
He wasn't happy.
And then the rocks, and we can't forget the rocks.
Oh,
Down at the Twins' house, we were talking. Kevin probably remembers that building down there, and it had the nicest rock foundation.
yeah.
The rocks were perfect. They were nice and flat. And I always wanted him, when he tore it down, to bring home some rocks. This really doesn't have anything to do with your dad, so I probably shouldn't.
No, it's okay. Keep going.
So anyway, he walked in this one day. We happened to be living up here. So Kevin, I'm sure Kevin remembers that. It was an old granary, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was down at the Twins' house. And he walked in this day at dinner time and he said, "I buried your rocks." You did what? I buried her rocks. And I said, you know, I wanted some of them. I wanted to bring them home here and build maybe some planters or something. Oh, you would have never built anything anyway, so I just buried them.
And that sounds just like
And they were
Dad.
And they were gone. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you'd never built anything with them anyway, so I just buried them. So that was that. Too much mischief. But I do remember the steel posts. Remember?
You and your daughters.
No, it was you that made him go down. For some reason, he had all these steel posts down at the Twins' house. And there wasn't very much going on this summer, so all the kids had to go down and paint steel posts. And they hated it. They did not want to paint.
You know, and it ain't that hard to paint steel posts.
But they hated it, and we would never heard the end of it for a long time.
I'll have to ask Connie next time you see her.
Well, Kevin probably remembers too, I'm sure. No, I don't really remember anything, naughty things that they got into, except we were talking out here on Sunday. Paige is pretty lenient with the 4-letter word. And I said, you know, we just never used that. And I've never even heard him swear, I don't think. And here were these Kevin and Alan. They came home with it, and they used it quite a bit once they learned it. And didn't they?
Oh, I'm sure they did.
But another thing about the boys, Tom and Kevin were always out. If he was fixing some piece of machinery, once they got older and didn't run off with all your tools, he had quite a thing with running off. They always ran off with his tools. But once they got big enough to help, they were always out there helping you, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where was Alan at?
Well, he was working. Ask him. He was working. Probably in the house lawn. He might see it sometimes, so I better not say he was in the house watching TV. Because he would deny it. So, there. The one that I remember the most, when we took the 9 kids up to the Dells and nobody wanted to rent us a room, but we finally found one. And it probably wasn't that bad.
Then one time we had rented a camper and took that west
Yes, we took that
out to
west.
Yellowstone.
Yeah. And that was quite an experience. Yeah, we took everybody, I think, except Connie. Did Terry go?
I think everybody was.
No, Connie didn't go. She couldn't leave Darn. Does that sound familiar? And then another time we went to campus and we took the whole family. I don't know if Connie and Terry were with us. And we went out to Niagara Falls and then we went to Washington, D.C. So the boy, Kevin.
Just Amy went. And Dana.
No, that was another trip. We rented this camper and took it out to Niagara Falls, and we did the things. We did the things at Niagara Falls, and then we drove down to Washington, D.C. Don't turn it off because we gotta get this straight here. We gotta get this straight. We did have a camper, did the Mary Kay, Dana and me, but we went out to visit Della and Bill.
Right, up in Vermont.
Yes, but this is a different trip I'm talking about. Kevin will know that we went to Niagara Falls and Washington, D.C. Different trip, Jerry. Now you can quit. He did lie to me, and I just found out. He did lie to us about we were gone on a trip, and when we came home, the end of the machine shed was broke out. And of course, we blamed Kevin all these years because Kevin was home. We found out just last week or so that it was Chuck Garvey that drove the tractor through the side of the building.
I'm like Chuck.
So yeah, no, I don't really remember too much that they were. Well, of course, all the things they did in their teen years that were probably very naughty that we didn't know about. But other than that, no, he's quite a son. We're quite a son. We're very proud of him, aren't we? End of the video. He was on a tractor that was kind of hard to drive. He had it in the machine shed, this tractor, and it was kind of hard to drive. No, Chuck.
Yeah.
Chuck was the one that went through. And I think he just, maybe didn't quite know how to drive it or something.
I mean, there was a ledge down there in that end.
Yeah,
You had to go over that.
a cement foundation about that tall.
So did Dad get in trouble?
I don't think so. I think he was pretty. As I say, your dad's a lot like his
So we
dad.
fixed it back.
Fixed it back up, but no, your dad's pretty lenient, and
I guess
if one of you kids would have done it, your dad would have fixed it up and not said too much either. You don't think so, huh?
No. I've broken things and he gets mad at me.
Oh, you never did get mad at the kids, did you? Okay.
Kason and Noah.
Kason and Noah.
Yes, that's
The
a
three
good
of them
picture.
and then the two little boys.
I know, I wish Thomas
Where'd
would
you
have
get
been
that
there.
one?
Well,
We were in the goats.
It's been about 2 or 3 years ago, so the goats.
I think we were weaning babies that day.
And it was 4 generations
Yeah.
that were there.
Okay.
That were there. But yeah, I like that picture too.
I love it on his tractor.
Yeah, I do too. It's not a clear picture.
No.
It's just,
The sun was setting.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
I
picture.
really like that too.
What is your favorite thing to do at Mima and Papa's house?
Bake.
What does Papa call you?
big belly girl.
What is your favorite thing to do with them?
I like to go fishing in the summer.
What do you love about Mima the
That
most?
she swears a lot and she is funny and she's kind of dramatic and she always sees the good in everyone.
What's your favorite thing you love about Papa?
He comes up with good nicknames. He swears too. He likes animals and he's a really good farmer.
What's your favorite thing about Mima and Papa's house?
That I get to play with the kids.
What's your favorite thing about Papa?
That he's funny.
What's your favorite thing about Mima?
He's funny too.
What's your favorite thing to go do with Mima and Papa?
Going on vacation.
What is your favorite thing about Mima and Papa's house?
How it looks.
How it looks? What do you like to do there?
Play with Noah.
What does Papa call you?
Me.
What do you love to do with Mima and Papa?
Snuggle with me, and when Papa plays, I like to play with him.
What's your favorite thing to go do with them?
Camping.
Camping?
Now, what does Papa call you?
He calls me Pister.
Pister what?
Pister Moon. But my name is not that. My name is Noah.
Okay. What is your favorite thing to do with Mima and Papa?
To ride with them in their car.
That's what you like to do. What else?
I don't know.
What's your favorite thing to do at Mima and Papa's house?
Play with Noah.
What do you play?
Like Rachel Man.
What does Papa call you?
Sure.
What do you love to do with Papa and Mima?
I like to snuggle with Mima.
What do you like to do with Papa?
When he plays with me.
What does he play with you?
I don't remember.
What is your favorite thing to go do with them?
Play with Mima.
Play with Mima?
Merry Christmas. We love you, Infinity on First.